Hello, friends. Just recently I've been thinking that we're going to be heading back to live in Japan in about 5 years, and it's become my nightly hobby to um, look for houses and look for property all around Japan. And this time I was looking for one in Miyazaki. Miyazaki is a beautiful little area down south. It's in Kyushu. It's known for its surf and for its beaches, and it's for its beautiful areas. Right now, I'm showing my son some of the pictures around Miyazaki, trying to get him interested in going there as well. But anyway, my main aim was to show you my method for when I'm looking at houses on the property websites that you see. This one in particular that I'm going to be looking at is house.gu.ne.jp, I believe. So first one I'm interested in, the link is in the description, by the way, for the website that I'm going to be looking at. First, I'm looking up the area of Miyazaki because I've only just recently seen how incredibly gorgeous it is. And I come from a place, well, right now I'm living in a place that's known for its beaches. And I come from a place in New Zealand that, although it doesn't quite have the white sands, Christchurch in New Zealand used to have some incredibly gorgeous, just long coastline, long beaches, something that I really enjoyed. So I've recently come to the conclusion that that might be where we want to go. So this might be a slightly long video. I think it ends up being about 30 minutes. That's the one problem with looking at Miyazaki, is that you kind of get caught up and your searches get confused because it thinks that you're looking for Ghibli, the landscape of Ghibli. Of course, the founder and main animator originally of Ghibli was Hayao Miyazaki, who did some absolutely astonishing work, but recently the company has more gone into the power of his son, who frankly can't animate for chips, but they still have some outstanding stories and they have some incredible artists involved. But that's not what we're talking about today. Right now we're looking at these gorgeous natural features that you can find in Miyazaki. The gorge, this incredible gorge surrounded by the waterfalls. There's hikes, there's tracks. So it's not just coastline, but it is a fairly quiet area. There's only about 400,000 people living there, and the nearest prefecture from Miyazaki is Oita, which has about, I think, 500,000 people in it. But there, you're talking, in Oita, you're talking it's at least 2.5, and maybe, yeah, about 2.5, 2 hours 50 away by car from Miyazaki, so it's very isolated. Other than Okinawa, where I originally spent 4 years, I have spent 4 years living in Okinawa, which is actually closer to China, close to Taiwan than it is to mainland Japan. But this it gives me a very similar feeling. A quiet, laid-back atmosphere, small-ish city that really has everything you need. A real deep history there, and some beautiful coastlines. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to go close there's my OBS is open. Here I'm clicking on house.gu.nejp. This is just one of the many websites that you can use. I'm looking for, there it is, Kyushu. Kyushu is the southernmost island of the main Japan area. Even further south than that. Now, here you see I'm looking for this used detached house. I'm going cheap today, by the way. I'm going really cheap. I'm not looking for anything extravagant, but a detached house, it's not an apartment. The problem that you have with an apartment is you might have $250 a month ongoing costs, $300 a month. It could be something like that. And that's not something I'm looking for. Now, I've opened up a map of Miyazaki so that I can go. At this point, yeah, this is so that I can look for the places that I want to see. At that point, I realized that Bing had totally taken over my computer and was showing me some crappy Microsoft Maps. I really want to find Google Maps. I prefer it. It's easier. I understand it. I can navigate it. I'm looking at the kind of areas that I might want to look around, just so that I can get some names of places in my head. That looks gorgeous. That's Aoshima Island. Then when I've got some of the names of areas that might be interesting to me, and I always compare it to where the main place is. So I think today, where are we going to be looking? Miyazaki Nobeoko. Okay, well, that one I haven't heard of, so I just wanted to see where it was. And it's really far north. So I can see how far away that is from the mainland or um, the main city of Miyazaki. And that's not, I don't really want to go that far into the woods. Hyuga, I've heard, has some incredibly gorgeous areas, but these are places that I can visit. So I'm just going to stick with Miyazaki City. And we see there's 1,200 properties in their list. Oh, I did add Nobeoka, but I don't, and Hyuga, but I don't think I'll be heading up there, to be honest. So just looking down at the kind of areas that I might want to see. You can see the golf courses there. There's a few golf courses down there. I'm also hoping that maybe one day I could find a place that I could turn into an Airbnb, rent out a couple of rooms, because I don't think it's a very popular area with tourists, but I think it really deserves to be. It has a lot that it can offer. Ah, there we go. I've cut down Nobeoka and Hyuga because now I'm a cheapskate. I'm going for under 20 million yen because I don't want to put absolutely everything into this. So 20 million yen in Australian terms, we're talking about $200,000. So what can we find for 200,000 Australian dollars? I want to be within 20 minutes walk from the station. So I'm not sure how good it's going to be down there as far as public transport goes. Now I'm going to list it here. You can see I'm going to go from Yasui. I'll change it to no, I didn't put it to English. So I always make it from Yasui. So the cheapest, the lowest prices first, and then I see what I'm starting with, and I work my way up to see what I can get for what money. See, Yasui, this kanji here is yasu. If you want a slightly more description, if you look very closely, it's actually the kanji for woman underneath roof. So if a woman is in the house, then it's cheaper apparently. But hey, I don't make this stuff up. So this one's like 30,000 Australian dollars. I mean, there's plenty of space. There's no upstairs toilet, which is something I quite often look for because my wife would prefer that. But it is old. But we should maybe, it's Sadawara Station. Might be worth looking into where that station is. So let's go back and look at Sadawara Station. There it is. That was fairly easy to find. Now, how far is that from the coast? It's walkable. I aim for about, if I'm going to be in this area, it's quite isolated. So I want to be walkable distance to the coast because that's really the reason that I'm looking at these places. Shimodajima. You might see a lot of spelling mistakes. Shimodajima Sadawara. No, it's not finding that. And sometimes you'll have Miyazaki. No, it's not finding that either. Sometimes you'll find that two places in Japan. Okay, so if I can't isolate that in the maps, I'll go down and have a look at the added map and see if I can isolate where it is. So if we, and then sometimes you can find an area, find a, so you can imagine that the house is probably in the center of that map, in the center of there. Oh, there is a chemical plant in the area. It concerns me that it might start stinking at some point. If you can find, sometimes you can find a place on those included maps, and you can go click on it and say show me in Google. Okay, so I found the elementary school that I assume that house is close to here. So it's a bit close to a river. That means it's kind of a flooding risk. It's pretty flat land, so it's a real tsunami risk, but that is the nature of, you know, being close to the ocean, really, isn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to check from that. So that's about 2K. So if I go to walking distance, that'll tell me the distance to walk to get to the ocean. So about 2K. I think that's pretty reasonable for me. Let's go for a walk around this area. So I drag the little guy up, but oh no, there's no available streets. There we go, there's one here. So now I can have a look around. My son actually saw this and he immediately said, wow, I want to go walking around there. It's fine. I have fairly high standards when I'm going to a place for the sake of the beauty. But this is nothing to hate at all. And through there should be the coastline. But this is only the first one that we've looked at, so, you know, let's not shoot our shot too quickly. That's very pretty around there. It's very pretty. And oh, and here's, yeah. As soon as we saw that, my son was like, what's that? And I said, yeah, I assume that's the chemical plant just there. Still a nice place for my walks. I'm really trying to think of it long term. I mean, I'm 45 years old now, and I'm really hoping for a retirement place, just an area. I like small town. I like community spirit. This kind of place, you normally have the local parties, like the city puts a party on in the park. They call it a matsuri. And at the matsuri, you have people playing music and dancing together. Sometimes you have fireworks. You have food caravans that sell all sorts of things. That's the kind of vibe that I absolutely love. Anyway, not so sure about the area that one's in. Oh, okay, well, I've isolated exactly where the house is, I think. But it's cheap. It's really cheap. I mean, like I said, it's $30,000. Now, it's 51 years. 51 years is a little bit old, and I'll explain to you why. I normally aim to stay, so that's 75. I aim to stay above 1981, because in 1981, and here we've got the first really good example. In 1981, they changed a number of the regulations, building regulations, that they decided that buildings had to be built in a very specific manner to protect them against earthquake. So if this is a place that, like, my wife really insists that 1981 is the goal to stick above. I say, honestly, what's the difference between 1978 and 1981? If it was really the difference between this place standing and falling, I can understand your concern. If it's just the difference between can this place be repaired and can this place not be repaired. So that's where it is, and it's 29 minutes. So the area that I found this one, and this was Sorry, 5.8 million yen. So 5.8 million yen, you're looking at about 500. No, sorry, you're looking at about 58,000 Australian dollars. And it's big, it's 6 DK. So DK means dining kitchen, and then it's 6 rooms. Just to give you a bit of guidance to the size of rooms, they're normally told to you by tsubo, or how many tatami mats could fit into that room. If you've got a 6 tatami mat room, you've got a very reasonable sized bedroom. 4.5 will be a tight bedroom, good for an office. 8 will be a nice large bedroom, 8 tatami size, or a possible sitting room, lounge room area. And this is full of junk. Like, there's just so much to get rid of. But, you know, lots and lots of soap on the shelves, that's for sure. I assume it's possible. There's a bit of poo on the floor. That's disgusting toilets. Like, they really need to work. It's possible that if this is a true, like, abandoned situation, that the people won't take their stuff with them. And it can get very expensive getting rid of that stuff. Because they're very specific about the way that rubbish is thrown away and disposed of in Japan. So it might take a long time if you need to put it out with the general rubbish, if you need to get it taken away professionally. So 5.8 million yen. Now we're going to find where it is. So is it worth going to all that trouble, remembering that it's only 58,000 Australian dollars, 5.8 million yen. It's in Aoshima, so it's only 30 minutes train ride every 60 minutes. So it's not very regular, but 30 minutes train ride to the center of Miyazaki. I love this. So this is the vibe of Aoshima. And I'm seeing a really country or really beachside vibe. And look at that. I can see myself walking down here in the mornings with a coffee, sitting on the steps, or coming down in the evenings. The sun should go down just to the right over there, I think, if my orientation's correct. Coming down the evenings with my camera, taking pictures. Last time I was living in Japan, we were living in the Shonan area. We're also near the beach, and from where we were living, the sun would set just over behind Mount Fuji. So you'd get the silhouette of Mount Fuji, then we would lose the sun behind it, and I was there every evening. I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos of the same flaming sunset, all from different vantage points and different, climate and different conditions and things like that. And this little island, this is Aoshima Island, and right in the middle of this island, as you'd expect in Japan, in the middle of Alps. This is called the Devil's Washboard. This is a formation, I think, created by the volcanic activity in the area, because Miyazaki, I think, has the largest, in the prefecture, has the largest active volcano. Active volcano in Kyushu, at least, in the island, that's for sure. So this is a real contender to me, so I'll just leave that up there. Let's see what else we got. We got one in 1982. It's 1 million yen more. Now I am looking for a place. It's a little bit tight. It's a 3DK. That means a dining kitchen and then 3 more rooms. So if you got 2 bedrooms, they'd be pretty close together. The DK area is very small. But I'm looking at this right now. My son he's young enough, he'd still be with us, so it would be the 3 of us, and we'd be trying to get him through starting high school and getting through high school. And you know that boys of that age kind of need a bit of space, so I feel like that's a bit too small. So remembering that we're looking at over 1981, preferably, depending whether something really takes my interest. This seems to fit. Now this is interesting. This is quite a new build, actually. I'll kick it back over to English. Nichinan Line Utsumi Station. So now we're going back to maps. We got to go looking for that. What was it? Utsumi Station. Now this is where it catches you. So I can't read all of those kanji, but boom. So I'm thinking, oh well, that's it. Oh, look at that. That's interesting. We're here. Hang on. This isn't right. This can't be right. Where is this? So it had found a different Utsumi station, which looks to be in a completely Okazaki, like completely different area. In fact, that's almost Osaka, I think. So that just gave me the completely wrong Utsumi station. So this is one problem with the English. Oh, Uchiumi. Okay, well that's just a problem with my reading. My apologies. But you do have a problem sometimes with the way that the English translates the kanji. I've even asked my wife, what does that kanji say? So that I can go looking for it in maps, and she's just flat out said to me, I don't know. Because it also depends on the area that people are in. Place names can be quite specific because the way that they say the name and the kanji that they read to get there. All right, so this is a different vibe. It's still the coastline, but got a much more industrial feel to it. It's not without its charm. It's a different sort of charm. Also a place where you can go listen to the water lapping and you can feel like you're on your own. It's a more modern place. It looks like it's very nicely renovated. Very nice. Like this is a good level, especially considering, remember, we're looking at $90,000. That's not bad. And it's not $90,000 in the middle of absolutely nowhere. It's 30 minutes on a train to a city that has 380,000 people, I think 400,000 people, something like that. It's a fairly decent city. So this is 1982, 4DK. Whereabouts is this? Now, I think I might have written that one. Oh no, no, can't really find it. Oh, is it Akaike? No. Akaike? Yeah, that looks like it. Okay, I spelled that wrong again, or it might be the... No, this is way up in the mountains. Again, I'm not going there to be in the mountains. If I want to be in the mountains, I'll go to Yamanashi. Probably Yamanashi because it's relatively close to Tokyo. No, I'm having a great deal of difficulty finding this place. I'm not here to go in the mountains, let's be honest. So, as I say, this is just... It might look like I'm speeding through these things, but I've just got pretty quick at this, and I've just shot through all of these places in the space of 30 minutes. This is kind of how I do every night. There we go. It says Miyazaki too, so it looks like I found the place. So if you're interested in this, if you want to see me hunting through... I'm sorry, this is the first time I've ever done any kind of video like this. I'm not very good at this, I'll admit, but if you do want to see some more areas, then if I see some comments, just going to see how far we are. So I'm going to go walking. It says choose your starting point on the map. going to look like a good way to get to the ocean. Looks around about there. We're talking 4.2k walking to the coast again. It's fine. It's a bit of a stretch for me. There are other places that can be more convenient. So I think right now the beaten up place that needs a lot of love, that was 5.8 million and quite close to the coast in Aoshima. That's a bit of a win. But you really need, and then if I find something that I'm interested, then I'll go and have a much deeper look, and I'll start looking at the problems. You might see something like a leak. Every now and then I've seen a house on a lean. That's a definite no-no. Remember, you're likely to be putting maybe 20 or 30. I mean, if I'm spending 60 grand on a house, I don't mind putting $30,000 into renovations. Again, looks like a beautiful place. Might come visit one day, but I'm not going down to the absolute bottom of, wow, the bottom of Kyushu. This is modern, this one. Whereabouts was that? This is a much more modern place. If anyone, ooh, this is looking good. It could be anywhere there though. So Sarawara-cho, Shimodai, Jima? Shimodai, but it says Jima. Now, Jima means island. Shima. Let's see if we can find where it. No, having difficulty finding it. It's a good looking house. So now we're talking about 120,000 Australian. And if it doesn't need any, okay, so we've got Shima Dashima 1149. What was it? 11496? Oh, Dashima. Okay. So sometimes the translate will give you, oh, there we go, fairly close. It'll give you one way of spelling the kanji, then another time it'll give you a different way of spelling the kanji. It can also send you to completely different areas in the country. It's 13 minutes walk from the station, so you're probably talking about 1k by their legs. I mean, their legs are short, but they move quickly. I may sound a bit naughty in some of the things I say, but I've lived in Japan for 7 years. I have a very good relationship with a lot of Japanese people. My wife's Japanese. My son's half Japanese, so we do throw around the odd joke at each other. And her favourite joke about me, my favourite joke about her is the length of her legs, and her favourite joke about me is the size of my nose. So, what are you going to do? You know how it is. You can say what you want about your mother, but if anyone else says it about your mother, you'll punch them in the nose. So that doesn't look too far away from the beach. This is probably about where I would go. We're talking 2.4k. That's not horrendous at all. 2.4k walk. That's a quick bike ride. That's a morning stroll. That's a nice looking house. If anyone was interested and wanted me to see this do this kind of footwork in some different city or some different prefecture or some area that you've heard of, feel free to drop it in the comments. Now I'm looking for a couple of my favourite places. One in particular being Don Quixote. So this is how I check how close it is to civilization. So Don Quixote is a massive jumble store. It's got all sorts of crazy and enjoyable stuff, and this one apparently is 44-minute ride. So now we're looking north of Miyazaki City, so it's a 44-minute ride to the nearest Don Quixote, which is, Don Quixote is a great shop. Another one that I really enjoy, Book Off. I always check to see where the nearest Book Off locations are. They sell secondhand books, secondhand CDs, secondhand DVDs. Remember, the region might not match your DVD player. um, general entertainment type things, secondhand games. I always enjoy a look at that as often as I possibly can. Again, we're looking about 43 minutes away from there. I also heard that this area has something called a manga soko, which I knew of in Okinawa, and I didn't realize that they were in mainland Japan as well. Now, there's no toilet in the second floor. We do like to have a toilet in the second floor, but it's a massive house. It's very like it's nice. It would take a little bit of work, but provided there's no real structural problems, big car park. It's always good to have a car park if at all possible. This one I think we're getting rid of. So 9 million, 21 years. This is looking good. 5.8. I mean, this is cheap. It's going to take some work. It's built after 1981. It's in that beautiful out of the way seaside area. It would just take a lot of. It would take 20,000 maybe. I don't know why I opened a second copy of that. But at this point, there is one more actually that I really took my interest, which was right in Miyazaki City, but it looks like I haven't brought that up in this little hunt tonight, but maybe another day I'll let you see that. If you do have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the comments. If you want me to have a look at any different areas, just give me a yell. I mean, like I said, this is my nightly pastime now. And this was the cheapest, but it's old and we can't see any pictures inside. So I'm not sure about that one. And it wasn't close enough to anything to really get me interested. But that's what I do. And if you want to know more, give me a yell. Thank you very much.